Welcome to the Taste Today. My name is Dr. Bethan Davies, and I am a senior lecturer in the Department for Geography at Royal Holloway, University of London. And I'm a physical geographer, and I study how glaciers and ice sheets are changing today, how they've changed in the past, and how they might change in the future. And with me, co-hosting today, is Dr. Squire. Dr. Squire, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Morning, everyone. It's really lovely to see you here today. My name is Dr. Rachel Squire, and I'm a lecturer in human geography, particularly in political geography, here at Royal Holloway, which you can see pictured behind me. Hopefully, you'll be able to visit at some point in the future. So my research sits within political geography, and it focuses on the space of the sea as a kind of geopolitical environment. So exploring some of the human geographies of the sea, and more recently thinking through how we grapple with those geographies in an increasingly kind of watery world amidst a climate emergency. So yeah, I teach on political geography and also a course on the sea, people, place, politics, and we'll hopefully explore some of those questions a bit later today.
And of course, the sea and the geopolitics of the sea is becoming increasingly evident in our daily lives. Anyone who's tried to order anything like garden furniture this summer has been in real trouble because of this ship blocking the Suez Canal.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the really exciting things about the geographies of the sea is that they're linked to our lives in ways that we don't always think of. And often it takes like a disaster or a moment of rupture, something where something goes wrong for us to realize that we are connected to this space. And it is a space of human geography and not just this space that exists outside of our kind of direct experience. So yeah, I think it's a really exciting time to be exploring some of those themes.
And yet we know more about the surface of the moon, supposedly, than
Yeah,
the
yeah.
subsurface of the ocean.
Yeah, I think there's a project called Seabed 2030 that's seeking to map the sea floor by 2030, and they've still got the size of two of the planet Mars to go to before they even can reach their objectives. So I think it's about 80% left. So there's still so much we don't know about this space as well.
In some ways, it's easier to send up a satellite to map another
Yeah,
planet than it is to map our own seafloor on our own planet.
yeah. And we there's new species being discovered all the time. There's all sorts of interesting things happening at the moment that I think
Well,
scientists often say as well that we still don't even know what we need to know about the sea. So it's a really, complex place.
Well, I'm looking forward to your lecture in just a few minutes. So that's going to be really interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a poll, and in the poll, if you could all fill in the poll, then we can give us something to start our discussion of. So I've launched the poll. It's asking you where you've come from and what specifically you'd like us to give you a little bit more information on. So please do fill in those polls, and we can talk about them in a bit more detail in a minute. Rachel, the way, and everybody else here, the way that the day is going to work is we are going to have some taster lectures by our colleagues. So there's a taster lecture by me, there's a taster lecture by Rachel. We've also got a lecture on modern day slavery and another one on volcanoes. So we're going to have these taster day lectures so you can get a taste of what it might be like, the kinds of things you might be studying if you come here come September. And then we're going to have a breakout rooms. I'll be after lunch in the afternoon. We're going to have breakout rooms where we're going to be talking about what we're going to be doing today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm just going to share the schedule for the day so you can see what we're going to be doing today. So let me share my screen. Hopefully you can see that now. Can you see the screen, Rachel?
Yep, all good.
Okay, so all right, there we go. So there's the schedule for today. So 10:15, Rachel, Dr. Squire will be giving her lecture on the geopolitics of undersea spaces. Then we'll have time for a break. Then there is a co-lecture between me and a colleague, Professor Klaus Dodds. We're going to be talking about Antarctica and not only how the ice sheet is changing today in terms of climate, but also the geopolitics of Antarctica, what that means. Catherine Brickell, Professor Brickell, will be talking about modern day slavery at 11:25, and then we'll have lunch. After lunch, there'll be an opportunity to go on a walk around campus with Al Pinkerton. Ian Candy will be taking you for a tour around the Department for Geography. About 1:40, Simon Blockley, Professor Blockley, is going to be giving a lecture on volcanoes, which I'm really excited to see because who doesn't love a volcano? And then at 2:15, what we're going to do is split up into breakout rooms. And Rachel and I are going to dip in and out of each of the 4 breakout rooms. There'll be 1 breakout room for each of those 4 taster lectures. And we're going to give you a couple of questions to think about. So I'll copy these into the chat. So don't worry about writing them down frantically. But when you're watching the video, what I'd like you to do is think about how you might answer those questions. Okay, so these are things to think about when you're watching the videos. Make some notes in on your notepad. So find yourself some notepad, find yourselves a pen, get ready to make some notes. And then when we come into the breakout rooms, you're going to have an opportunity to perhaps talk with some other students, and then you can present as a group your findings to the rest of the Taster Day cohort. Okay, so I'll put those questions in the chat, so there's no need to worry about frantically writing them down. So I'll just put up the program for the day there. It's the same program that you should have received in your joining instructions. By 3 o'clock, we should all be ended and finished. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be recording throughout the day, and then all of these segments will go up as a playlist on YouTube. So it won't be like one 10-hour video that you have to watch. It'll be like a playlist of shorter videos, so you can catch up on anything that you've missed out on. Right. So Rachel, what video are you looking forward to seeing?
I think all of them. I'm quite looking forward to your one with Klaus Dodds on Antarctic geopolitics. I think that's, yeah, it's one of the really exciting things about the department is the way that physical geography and human geography interact. And I think that'll be a really exciting one to watch. And I think all of them just look great. And Bethan won't say this because she's very modest, but people like Bethan, Klaus, Ian, Simon, they're all at absolute forefront of their fields and doing really, really exciting research. So to be able to hear from them today, I think is a real treat. Which one are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to yours because I think that's something I don't know anything about, the geopolitics of undersea spaces. As a physical geographer, my human geography is quite ropey, so I'm really excited about seeing that. I'm interested in the undersea spaces, so I think I'm looking forward to that. And it's where we send astronauts to train, isn't it? We send them to submarines and bases on the sea floor, don't we?
Yeah, so there's a really cool place in Florida called the Aquarius Reef Base, which is about 20 meters down on the sea floor, where people like Tim Peake and pretty much any astronaut that's spending time in the International Space Station, they will have gone and spent time living on the sea floor to get used to things like weightlessness and to get used to the fact that they can't, quickly return to the surface or be in contact with the outside world. So it's a really interesting testing ground for other environments as well.
Okay. Right, I've got the results of the polling.
Oh, fantastic.
If I say end polling, what happens? I'm not sure. Right, share results. Okay, can you see the poll results?
I can, yes.
Excellent. Okay, so where have people come from today? We've got a large number of people from Southeast England and from London. Someone from Wales, this person from Wales, do you want to type in the chat where you're from perhaps? You're hi from Wales. Yeah, excellent. Super. And then what do we want more information on? Okay, so people are interested in the course and how it will be delivered next year.
Yep.
Interested in field trips, so we can definitely talk about them. And you want to know more about our lecturers. Well, we've got a good breadth of our lecturers today. Lectures from Rachel and from myself, from Simon, from Ian. We can talk about all of those things. And students' employability and how we can support this. Yeah, we can talk about all of those things. Perhaps one of the things that we can start on is our course and how it will be delivered next year. Now, the first thing to say is we're obviously going to have to follow government guidelines. If something happens, the government dictates what we have to do, then we have to be in line with that. But we are very much hoping, very much planning to have our students on campus, as we have done this year, to be delivering the course in a COVID safe manner. We'll be giving lectures at half capacity. So the lectures will be running twice, and you'll come for an hour and then all change and then come for another hour. And that will be supported with probably online sessions, and that's worked really well this year. The students have really enjoyed the ability to watch pre-recorded materials and then use the time with the lecturer more effectively, or to perhaps watch some of those lectures in their own time as they juggle all their other commitments. I run a first year statistics course, and I found the students have really enjoyed the short 5-10 minute videos I've done on each core statistical concept. So I give a lecture on statistics, and then people can come and catch up on what they've learned. Now, Rachel, you go to Spain, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So we run a first year field trip to Spain that's included in the cost of your fees. Obviously, it didn't run last year for obvious reasons, but yeah, we're fully intending on running it this year. Obviously, as Bethan says, it will have to be in keeping with government guidelines. But the Spain field trip is fantastic. It's a brilliant way to get to know your cohort. We go to a place called Nerja, which is about an hour's drive from Malaga. It's a really beautiful coastal town, and you get to spend a week splitting your time between physical geography, so going out into the mountains in the local area, rural geography, so talking to local farmers about land use issues and some of the challenges that are being faced there, and also human geography, so thinking through questions around tourism, expatriation, and what that means for the local town. And it's just a brilliant trip. It's a kind of legendary thing, I'd say, in the department for students, because it is such a brilliant formative experience in kind of bringing everyone together and giving you a taste of what geography is like out in the field.
Excellent. And that's building on some of the fieldwork our students do right in the first few weeks of term, because they go out to Cooper's Hill, don't they? Yes. And they do fieldwork right from the start, doing soil surveys and land use surveys and all sorts of things.
Yeah, and what I really like about the kind of field trip setup in the department, that it's all kind of geared towards giving you all the skills and all the kind of things that you'll need to complete your own piece of research in the final year. So in your second year, you can choose between field trips to New York, Malawi, Cyprus, Sicily. There's also one in the more local area in London. So your skills kind of gradually increase over the 3 years that you're with us, and then culminate in your own piece of independent research in the final year.
And we're planning to run these field trips next year, aren't we? To Malawi, to New York, to places like this. We're hoping to do that. Yeah, is the current plan. Yeah. And of course, our course is supported in the first year by tutorials. It's the kind of small group work teaching that we find really supports our students and really helps them. So along with your lectures, you'll be having small group classes, maybe 7 students, with people like Rachel, with people like myself. We'll give you an essay, we'll mark the essay, we'll give you lots of support and feedback. And I think the students really enjoy those tutorials, don't they, Rachel?
Yeah, definitely. And they're just a really nice opportunity for you to kind of get to know a smaller group of people, and also for us to introduce you to a range of kind of academic skills and practices, because we know it's a big jump. We know you've never done things like referencing. Writing an academic essay can be, a tricky skill to master, but we're here to support you through that process, and the tutorial systems provide a really nice means of doing that, where you can kind of hone your writing skills, your discussion skills, and do that in a really kind of safe and supportive environment.
Excellent. And I think the other thing to comment on, I know your video is coming up shortly, so I just want to comment on this really quickly, is COVID has actually opened up opportunities for us, hasn't it? It's changed the way we do things, and I don't think we're ever going to go back. Things like, we've got a lot of commuting students within our college, and this Teams setup that we use has been fantastic. And I think students, they want to, especially our commuting students, they want to bundle their time on campus to be as effective as possible. They don't want to come all the way in for a 10-minute meeting with us. And we can do those kinds of things on Teams, can't we?
Yeah, I think that's been a real bonus of COVID's obviously been very difficult, but yeah, there has been some advantages. It's enabled a degree of flexibility that we didn't have before. It enables us to kind of, I guess, respect students' time more. If they're working, we can kind of fit more easily around people's schedules. So I think that's been a real plus side.
Yeah, and I've got a student at the moment doing some field work, and we're doing Teams calls from the field. It's
amazing.
It's amazing. It's really using that technology. And the other thing that's changed, that's probably permanent, I would say, for many of us is open book exams, isn't it? And our exams are going to be these 24-hour format exams, open book exams. You write a 1,000 word essay in 24 hours and then you upload it, basically. Because I think I found when marking it, that really assessed the students' knowledge and understanding much better than the more traditional sit in a hall and cram and write everything you know on a piece of paper.
I think that's a really important change. I've had so many tutees over the years who find, and understandably I did as well, find that kind of exam hall setting where you go in, sit in your own desk, you know, extremely stressful, and it's not the best environment for really showing what you can do. So I think, these new open book assessments that are here to stay now are a really great result of the COVID pandemic.
So there's a few things about how we're going to be delivering our course next year. If you have further questions, put them in the chat. We are going to be talking about this throughout the day, and we'll come back and touch on it. But what I want to do now is launch Rachel's Geopolitics of Underseas lecture. And you've got the questions in the chat. Please be thinking about them as you're watching the lecture. Okay.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.